For decades, bright and ambitious graduates got to choose between three career paths: finance, consulting, and the rest, which proved to be the fastest way to an average life including subpar salary. Among those three, finance was the undisputed silverback gorilla, the ultimate platform for amassing fortunes and power in our world, mankind's highest calling, and the only place where demigod-like investors could directly enact God's will through their trades.
Where can I invest to please our God?
But in the past years, a new silverback breed has appeared on the scene and shaken up the existing career world order. The so-called big tech firms are not just a competitor to the once so popular destinations like Goldman, Blackstone or Citadel. Big tech are slowly but violently initiating the beginning of the end of finance careers. In the beginning, there was nothing. God said, "Let there be finance." And there was finance. And with it such amazing innovations as the credit crisis of 1772 or the Great Depression starting in 1929.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression.
But crises and hardship can mean strong creatures, and so it is no surprise that it took another crisis, the dot-com bubble around 2000, for our antagonist to appear on the scene. Big tech, mainly referring to the companies referred to as FANG, Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Meta and Microsoft, but also relatively smaller companies such as Netflix, Spotify or Uber.
When I mean FANG, I mean FANG Gultad.
For many years, there was very little overlap between a career in finance and a career in big tech. They were just too different. Thus, ambitious graduates worked away in both professions, often as much as 70 hours per week and more.
God is working, Jesus is working, and I'm working.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
I'm not going to retire until he pulls me back.
But in the past years, both industries have converged to an extent that now we have numerous examples of influential people who have been in both fields, such as Jeff Bezos, who worked at a hedge fund before starting Amazon.
I was working on Wall Street, a very specialized kind of investment bank called a quantitative hedge fund.
Or Chamath Palihapitiya, who left banking with a slight aversion towards finance.
The biggest thing that I realized was that bankers are like smart enough to be greedy, but not smart enough to be useful.
And now that both industries converge, big tech is starting to kill finance careers. Now, even for a silverback industry such as big tech, it's not easy to damage finance. Wall Street jobs famously offer great salaries. I have outlined the most popular jobs in my video 3 career paths that guarantee millionaire status early in life. Let's look at the 3 main finance jobs that Sigma Chad Bros aim for: hedge funds, private equity, and investment banking. In hedge funds, you can go home with up to $300K US salary including bonus. In investment banking, we are talking about $100K plus 50 to 100% bonus, which could get you up to $200K salary, while private equity starters pull in at least 100 to 150K, which at least allows for a moderate inflation-adjusted models and bottles lifestyle. Sure, these figures don't make you rich enough not to waste time, but it is a good start, and it increases. Senior silverbacks in finance can pull in 8 digits if they are good, while still being an employee. But if there's one industry that can match these figures, it is big tech. Big tech is the top of engineering salaries. Thus, as a software engineer, you are pulling in an easy 160 to 190K, including restricted stock options, equity shares in the company you work for that usually vest over multiple years.
So it's a combination of being able to make an impact, being able to wear jeans and t-shirts to work, and having challenges that interest you.
And maybe stock options in a company that could go public, right?
Exactly.
Most salary websites don't include RSUs, even though this can be one of the main comp drivers for engineers. Engineers who got in pre-IPOs with low stock prices made multiples of the mentioned 160 to 190K in entry-level positions. Okay, so pay for the echelon of both professions is comparable. that does not make big tech better. You might make a case that the hourly pay in big tech is more as they work less hours on average, but that doesn't really kill finance. Here is the thing. The reason graduates go into finance is for the exit opportunities. There's not a single chimp that does not wish to end up working for such names as Blackstone or Bridgewater at some point of their finance careers. Typically, you would start your career in investment banking before going on to either PE or hedge funds or joining a huge corporate and hoping to become their CFO eventually. So it's safe to say that finance offers some great exit opportunities. But big tech competes easily. Just the fact that it is commonplace to switch from big tech to finance roles, whereas it is very difficult and not usual at all to go from finance to big tech, should make this argument very clear.
Most software engineering jobs in finance, or like technical jobs in finance, they don't care if you don't know anything about finance because they think they can teach you. They know they can teach you. You know, finance stuff is easy, but the technical skills, that's kind of hard to teach and it requires more resources for them.
But exit opportunities are not all. Many people are happy to work their whole lives in one industry or even one company. So what is it that makes big tech such a big danger for traditional finance careers? Well, essentially finance is losing the war for the top 1% talent against big tech, and this has massive consequences. Let me explain.
A global study we conducted with Randstad of over 4,000 members of the Gen Z and millennial generations found that they are most interested in the tech industry. Only 10% are interested in finance.
Another study says that even employees already working in the financial sector are eyeing opportunities in tech. It found that 1/4 are more interested in working in the tech industry than finance. It says that these employees are looking for meaningful work, companies that innovate, and flexibility, all of which tech companies offer and where financial companies lag behind. All over the internet and on some of my favorite forums, there have been discussions for years about how big tech seems a more intelligent career move than finance for some people. It is a combination of high pay, interesting work, high status, and great exit opportunities that makes big tech a favorable choice for high performers.
Would you rather have your children going and cooking up the financial system, engineering the financial system, and creating more problems for us, more meltdowns, more bubbles like what my esteemed friend is famous for? Or would you rather have them saving the world? It's a binary thing.
Which in turn means these high performers start lacking in finance jobs. Now, one thing is important to understand. We are talking about the top 1% in their respective bracket. In most cases, it does not matter where a person goes, but there's this 1% of graduates that are going to have a real impact on the company they work at. These are the people who will eventually become head of a group in finance or head of engineering in big tech. In sales and trading at a bank, they might help develop a new trading algorithm, whereas in big tech, they might help shape a new targeting algorithm, which will make the company millions.
I have no idea what I'm reading.
We are talking about key resources here. The future of finance heavily relies on coders and quants to generate great returns in the 21st century. But most of them would rather work for a big tech company or start their own startup. And this is why big tech is directly contributing to the decay of the finance industry. Lastly, there's a mega trend we should not forget about: Web3 and crypto. While it's not a secret that decentralized finance is a big threat to the entire old finance industry, let's also not forget that big tech is in a unique position to either take full advantage of Web3 adoption or get heavily disrupted by it, which makes master planning our career in the future even more important. Summing up, should you become a finance chat bro or a big tech virgin? Well, maybe neither, because there is one profession that beats them all.